Real estate development, both residential and commercial apartments, is one of the fastest growing industries across cities in Africa. However, there is growing concern that the African real estate market is becoming a safe haven for money laundering. Dr. Kunle Awolaja, president of the African Real Estate Society, shares his insights on the disturbing development. He attributed the influx of dirty money into Africa's property market to weak economic systems and lax oversight as key enablers.
Okay, my name is Kunle Awolaja, PhD. I'm the African Real Estate Society president, and I'm also a director of the Lagos State Valuation Office in Nigeria. There's a saying in real estate is that real estate is an edge against inflation. So when you have your money, and the place that looks a little bit suitable for you to invest it without really losing it. Because if you invest in bees, if you invest in shares, if you invest in companies run down with a whole lot of things, or even financial institutions that are giving that you have your money can go bankrupt, can go. So you look at where you can, it will be easy for you. So it's so easy because even when there's inflation, a whole lot of things I've just mentioned about renters going up. You can put your money right into real estate. So real estate is a soft spot for money laundering, no doubt about it. No doubt. Yeah. So the people that have, they can actually do that. But there can be, is actually, there can be regulations that we allow, that will prevent money laundering, you know, money laundering going into being pushed into real estate. And those regulations, like in Nigeria, for example, we have the anti-corruption agencies are trying to work so much assiduously to prevent money laundering. You have to work with the financial institutions to be able to at least, if not eliminate it, minimize tendencies of, because you have to go through the financial institution to be able to launder your funds. People are not so much carrying money in cash around, so you go into the financial institution. So the regulatory authorities should be more and more, giving more strength, more powers to be able to. And then technology also come in. The fintechs are there. So many financial institutions coming in. There's even cryptocurrencies coming in, bitcoins and so on coming in. But it's about regulations, to trying to regulate, how, so that the money laundering can easily be minimized. It might not be totally wiped out, but it will be minimized and not go into real estate, because real estate is a soft target to invest slush funds into it. So those are the things I just say from initially, that real estate is an hedge against inflation. So people find it easy to invest there.
The real estate magnate also highlighted key challenges facing Africa's real estate sector, including poor infrastructure, limited access to long term financing, and regulatory gaps. He further discussed the main drivers of the high cost of purchasing or renting real estate in many African cities for the average citizen.
First and foremost, the first challenge is actually about infrastructure. Infrastructure uh, really bring up, infrastructure should be the precursor for real estate development anywhere in the world. But the reverse seems to be the case in Africa. Is most African cities in urban areas, you find that Um, Development precedes infrastructure. We're supposed to be the other way around. It's when they have infrastructure that then development can come in. So infrastructure is key. Infrastructure is not there most often. People are not getting access to development, accessibility, yeah, because the infrastructure is not there. Then the second issue is that of finance. Most of real estate in Africa is mostly informal. It's not there are no there's the capital to for development is far too short, and it's not really coming in. So finance is there. Then, like you said, policy. Well, policy, regulatory regulations, and so on are also there because we need the policy to be able to bring up development, especially in urban areas for real estate. So the policies are way in between. Then in Africa, the issue of diversity is not bringing standards, and maybe because of something that has to do with because most of Africa were under different colonial government. The barriers are there, barriers of language, barriers, of so many things. So this really affects real estate development and real estate practice in Africa. The other one that we might be considering will be also the issue of uh, technology. When you talk about technology, we talk about prop tech. That is just this makes prop tech would have made easy would have made especially for development, real estate development, easy. But this is really just coming into uh, into Africa. So technology is supposed to be a main driver for property development. And when you look at China now, China was able to come up because the introduction of technology has really driven up so many things, and China has really caught up with the rest of the world. So Africa still needs to adopt technology to develop real estate. They one of the things that we also look at, apart from finance, is that of building materials. If you want to apply the local building materials, it's not coming uh, in there. Even if it's cheap, you're not going to get it. The production and so on will not come cheap. So, but if we're getting building materials that are of international quality, it's going to come very expensive. And it's in most often some of our property developers, you have to go and bring up materials from as far as China. So these are things that really bring challenges. There are challenges to assess your development. Sometimes you have to provide even do the road yourself, so maybe the road yourself. Yeah, you have to provide for water and most of the facilities that are going to come in. You do that on your own. You provide even electricity. Then the cost of maintenance goes very high. So and when you look at all those things, these are contributory factors to high rentals in the urban cities of Africa. So there's no way you live there. And then the cost of finance are to it, because if you can see financial institutions, you are getting a short-term loan for long-term development. So your rate of returns doesn't come, it's not really satisfactory. So when you add all these, you find out that you have no choice. For developers, have no choice than to give higher rentals. And then do we have the the purchasing power is also not there. So for the little, the supply aspect is key. The supply is not really coming. Now we have so many new guys on the block in Africa, but the supply is short. The demand is high. So when you look at the market forces playing, those are also contributory factors to higher rentals in properties in Africa.
Despite the challenges, the continent continues to see massive urban growth. So, I was curious about the inherent opportunities this urban expansion presents for real estate investors, developers, and governments.
Africa is is the next world. Africa is, uh, like I always say, is now. Africa is the only continent in the world that is a green field. So the opportunities are there. We totally green field. Most of, when you talk about Europe, Europe is just is brownfield. They still need to do the development and do a lot of things. We go to Asia too, it's brownfield. But Africa is a green field. Africa have less disaster, have less, the only thing we might be having is the issues of international war, that we have in some of the countries, and maybe a kind of insecurity, and that's human, the human thing that can actually be addressed. So Africa has that huge opportunity, and it's there. So we are inviting, we have the resources, whatever the way. Maybe don't let me sound so religious. The way God has really created the continent of Africa is superb for development, for human development, for human assistance. Let me say assistance. So because we don't have excess of anything. We have less even with climate change. We are not really affected like as in other continents. So Africa is a green field that is for development. So opportunities are just in Africa. So I want to say invest in Africa.
As Africa's cities continue to expand at an unprecedented rate, the future of the continent's real estate sector hangs in a delicate balance between risk and opportunity. Dr. Awolaja's insights underscore the urgent need for regulatory reforms, increased transparency, and innovative financing models to curb illicit activities while unlocking the sector's full potential.